A young man, wounded and injured, lies on the ground. He laments that this may be the end of his life at 17 years old. The young man's face has severe injuries. He appears to be in a state of shock or despair. The wounded young man faces a dark and menacing creature. He seems to be in extreme danger. A red dragon walks across the volcanic landscape. A blonde knight fights against the dragon. The dragon is attacking, and the knight appears to be in a defensive position. The blonde knight encourages another knight, with blue hair, who is fighting. He talks about how powerful the other knight's attack is. The blue-haired knight faces the dragon, using a shield and sword. He is defending against the dragon's attack. The focus is on the blue-haired knight's eye. His eyes show determination and focus. The blue-haired knight is struck by a blow from the dragon. He clearly expresses pain through his words. The blue-haired knight is thrown away by a blow from the dragon. He is launched with great force, indicating the power of the attack. He spits blood. He says that the blonde knight always makes him nervous, while a message appears above him indicating that his endurance has been activated. The blonde knight says, "Nice one, Naoki," while fighting the dragon. He says he found an opportunity to attack the dragon. He says, "With this," while fighting the dragon. The dragon is hit by a powerful attack. The dragon takes a magical attack and roars. The blonde knight levels up to 20 and meets the conditions to change his class. The blonde knight thanks Naoki. He is now a hero king, a level 20 warrior. The young man tells the blonde knight that he is being too hard on his brother. The other responds that even if it's just a game, he's getting scary. The blonde-haired young man asks the other to continue level training. The blue-haired young man says he has other commitments later. The blonde young man looks surprised by his response. The blue-haired young man explains that he needs to help his friend level up so he can receive a big reward. The blonde young man gets excited about the prospect of a big reward and reaching first and second place with his friend. A young man is lying in a hospital bed wearing a virtual reality headset. His family watches him with concern while a specialist is called to discuss the case. An incident in the popular online game Genesis Chronicle is reported. Another young man is using a virtual reality headset in some kind of capsule, with a woman kneeling at his feet. The location is Paris. A woman in Rio de Janeiro is in despair, as it has already been a month. Several people are lying in hospital beds in Johannesburg, wearing virtual reality headsets. Two hosts discuss the fate of 120 million players trapped in the game and search for causes and solutions to the problem. A host explains that the incident is an act of terrorism by the game's developers, who are holding the players hostage. A patient with a virtual reality headset connected to the game feels physical pain when taking damage in the game. A doctor explains that if the player's life force reaches 0 in the game, they die in real life. It is reported that there are confirmed cases of deaths from forcibly removing the virtual reality headset. A young student in a school uniform is in a school hallway. The frustrated boy claims it is his fault. The young man blames himself for giving the game, Genesis Chronicle Online, to Hiroki on his birthday. A presenter informs that there is still no solution to the problem and asks viewers not to access the game. The student picks up the virtual reality headset. He hesitates to enter the game because he knows he could die. Despite that, he decides to enter anyway. Hiroki continues fighting alone inside the game. Hiroki, despite his adult appearance in the game, is only 12 years old. He feels responsible for Hiroki and says he would never forgive himself if he let him die. He promises to save Hiroki, saying he will hold on and rescue him. He is putting on the virtual reality device. He is panting, showing that he is exhausted. Two people are being chased. A young man trips and falls, screaming in pain. While on the ground, he catches the attention of the bunny girl who was ahead. The young man who tripped in the game clearly feels pain in real life from the fall. The man, injured and lying on the ground, says, "No." Crying, the man repeats, "Don't want to die." The man remains desperate, screaming that he doesn't want to die. A long-tongued creature attacks the man, striking his head. After piercing through it, the creature lifts him with its tongue. Two of these creatures approach. The girl, in her bunny character, also trembles in fear. The bunny character is scared. The man, now dead, appears on a game over screen, and a voice announces that he has died. Soon after, he dies in real life as well. The bunny character, panting, is surrounded by two creatures. The bunny girl is crying. One of the creatures attacks her. The bunny-eared girl flees from wolf-like monsters. The protagonist, wearing armor and carrying a shield, runs through the forest toward the screams. He keeps running. The bunny-eared girl with teary eyes is now behind the shield, saved at the last second. He protects the bunny-eared girl from a monster's attack with his shield. After the creature's strike on the shield, he is thrown far away. He falls, letting out sounds of effort. A message appears. Super resistance activated. Activation count 9,999. Injured, he breathes heavily, seemingly exhausted. He says, "Ha," several times. His HP is at 1. Wounded, he leans on his shield, with the bunny-eared girl beside him, frightened. He asks the girl if she is okay. She responds that she is, but she is worried about his HP. The protagonist says he is fine, as it is the effect of an ability. His HP displays 1-13. He explains the ability. If his HP is above 70%, lethal damage leaves him with 1 HP. He calls it super durability, an internal monologue from the man. In another world, this ability was terrifying. Even without pain, he takes a drink, apparently to recover. He comments that in this game, he feels pain when taking lethal damage. He says it's very severe. The protagonist reveals that he created the account to accompany a friend, Hiroki, but he can't even defeat weak monsters. He says his friend is not present and that he was lucky to save the woman, but he can't protect her with his abilities. He shows frustration. The protagonist plans their escape with the woman, saying he will observe first and then they will flee to the village. She agrees. He hides in the grass, apparently scared and exhausted. The dark and menacing monster appears on the scene, letting out a roar. The protagonist, still hiding, shows extreme fear and tension in the face of the monster. The monster is now in an open area with blood stains on the ground. The protagonist is shocked and seems to say something between astonishment and disbelief. The huge and powerful monster is called Jack Rex. A character declares the appearance of the invading monster. He explains that if the monster notices them, it will be much worse, as it was feeding on Uharu. However, they are struck by a wave of energy from the monster that ends up revealing their positions. He shouts, "Run!" as the monster chases the two, an energy attack with the monster's claws. They run from the monster. The protagonist expresses disbelief, saying he can't believe the creature's attack power, comparing it to natural disasters. The dark creature attacks, creating a large fissure in the ground and hurling a rock. The rabbit-eared woman is in danger along with the protagonist, with the creature about to strike her, while the man seems to be trying to protect her. The man and the woman run together while being pursued by the creature. The protagonist comments that their escape route is compromised because the situation is bad. The man observes the dark creature up close. The dark creature prepares a devastating attack with its claw. A trail of destruction is left by the dark creature as it moves rapidly through the area. After an attack with its tail against them, the protagonist manages to defend her, but he does not come out unscathed. He is injured, groaning in pain, with low health. His words express suffering and exhaustion. He activated his super resistance power for the 1,000th time. He laments the need to use this ability so many times. He is wounded and defeated, feeling that the situation is hopeless. His words reveal despair and surrender. He is trapped by the monstrous creature. He expresses his inability to escape, lying on the ground, injured before the threatening creature. He is questioning his fate and lamenting the possibility of dying before reaching his goal. He is angry and frustrated with his situation, expressing it with a curse. The protagonist shows anger and frustration with the situation, revealing his outrage through a curse. Enraged, overcome with frustration, he attacks the monster barehanded without thinking. the protagonist receives a congratulatory message for reaching 10,000 activations of his super resistance ability. A secret ability has been unlocked. The message on the screen says, "Condition met. Secret ability unlocked." The ability, Soul of Despair, has been activated. He asks himself, frightened, "What is this?" He seems confused and surprised by something happening to him. He appears to be releasing a powerful golden energy from his fist. Now, he is firing energy blasts, attacking the monster. He seems to be propelled upward by a powerful force. His strike is incredibly powerful. From his fist, a gust of wind and a whirlwind, even tearing through the surrounding rocks. They are left speechless, showing their surprise at his power. The area is devastated. They express confusion with a simple, "Huh?" A large fissure opens in the ground, creating a desolate landscape. The injured one is startled to see an explosion of energy in his hand. "What the hell is this?" The woman explains that he was hiding an incredible ability, and he states that he simply fused with something. She comments on the sudden appearance of a window. The protagonist observes a translucent blue interface and comments that he will check his status. A notification appears showing the details of a skill called Soul of Despair, increasing attack power but making recovery impossible for 30 minutes. He is surprised. He is shocked, realizing that his attack power has reached its maximum with the Soul of Despair skill. The woman is astonished by the hidden ability of the tank and suggests a possible cause. He explains that after the change in the game world, he used super endurance to protect players, leading to the unlocking of a hidden skill. He says that with this skill, maybe even Hiroki. The image shows Hiroki with an aura of power. The protagonist observes his glowing fist, while the rabbit-eared woman watches. Shadow wolves appear again. They seem wounded and frightened. The woman exclaims, showing fear and concern for the situation. She is nervous. The injured protagonist states that everything is fine, downplaying the gravity of the situation, demonstrating self-confidence. He says his skill allows him to defeat any number of enemies, showing determination and power. He states that he can defeat the enemies even with just a shockwave, reinforcing his confidence in his ability. He says he will defeat the enemies with a single blow, demonstrating certainty in his victory. The protagonist, still injured, prepares to fight again, showing his persistence and focus in battle, but his excitement soon fades as the energy in his fist vanishes. The wolves attack again. The woman asks why his skill is not working. She is desperate and confused. He does not understand what is happening. The protagonist is shocked and exclaims something like, "What?" He discovers that the attack power boost lasts only 3 minutes, and after that he cannot recover for 30 minutes while being at only 1 HP. He shows shock at the time limit. He is shocked and comments that he cannot recover for 30 minutes and is at only 1 HP. He wonders what to do after activating a skill with negative consequences, and the girl says something like, "Damn, what can I do?" The girl seems to push or throw the injured protagonist. The girl questions, "Huh? What is happening all of a sudden?" She exclaims that something is seriously wrong. She appears to be eating grass. He tells her to stop playing around because this is not the time for that. It shows her mana level increasing. The girl says, "Bait." Then they start acting. The protagonist and she begin performing extremely embarrassing dances. In reality, those were baits created by her, acting as idiotic clones. After seeing that the bait worked, they sit down, sighing. A view of the first village. The boy and the girl are sitting together in a quiet place. The girl introduces herself as Izayoi Rabiko, a level 135 mage. The protagonist introduces himself as Naoki, level 8. He thanks her for saving him. Naoki thanks Izayoi for saving him, and she explains that the grass he used was a recovery item. Izayoi reveals that the grass was a recovery item, and Naoki admits to being a beginner. The girl says that despite being beginners, it is amazing that both survive. She shows joy and surprise. The girl comments that something is truly incredible, showing a tone of astonishment and admiration. She cries, demonstrating fear and sadness. The blue-haired girl cries and says she was very scared, reinforcing her fear and vulnerability. The protagonist observes the situation with a concerned expression. He says he understands the situation, expressing empathy and agreement with the girl's suffering. He comforts her. The protagonist thinks to himself, saying that they almost died, expressing the danger they went through. He reflects that everything was just a game until recently, showing that the situation has become real and dangerous. He thinks out loud about the name of the game. Chronicles of Genesis. Chronicles of Genesis Online, also known as GCO, is the name of the game. A very popular open-world MMORPG with 300 million players globally is introduced. Its charm lies in the high degree of freedom and the world visualization. Suddenly, the game world changes. Fierce monsters appear in the game, killing players. The game, which was synonymous with fun, becomes a deadly weapon. He explains that, in moments of despair, the attack skill activates, but he needs to be careful with the timing of its use, as improper use could lead to death. She comments on the incredible skill used to defeat Jack Rex, a level 50 monster, with a single strike. She repeats the strength of his skill, comparing it to a hero king. He grabs her, who is scared and surprised, questioning if she knows something. The protagonist asks her if she knows about Hiroki. She explains that Hiroki is the hero king, and that he is famous now. She recalls how, right after a change in her status, she received help from someone more experienced, similar to the help he himself gave to Naoki. He asks if there is a way to contact him. She responds that they registered as friends, and he can send a message if the other is in danger. She says she never used the function because she felt bad. The protagonist explains that his level was too low to unlock the friend function when he played with Hiroki. He asks her to send a message to Hiroki. She agrees, but asks what she should write. The protagonist tells her to send the message, saying that your older brother is here. The message is sent. He receives the message while fighting. He gets the message while battling a creature. He shows an expression of intense effort or anger. Another being asks if everything is okay in a context of possible damage or conflict. A command is given. Reply to him. A blonde knight is near a massive purple dragon that is attacking. A threat is made. This is your chance to leave a will, you know, says the horned, dark-skinned demon. The knight states, "No need to worry, for I will report the victory later." He demonstrates confidence and composure. Two people discuss the hero king. Maybe he is busy and hasn't opened the message yet. The other responds, "I see." The protagonist asks, "He is very close. Should I go now?" She shows a device with his location. He pleads, "Ah, thank you, take me there." He shows urgency and gratitude. Two forces collide, creating an explosion of blue and white energy. The knight attacks a dragon. His sword shines with a strong blue energy and is brandished against the enormous dragon. The demon laughs and says, "Ha ha, what an incredible spirit." He seems impressed with his opponent. The hero fights against the powerful monster, using magic and his sword. He is thrown far due to the impact of the battle, leaving a trail of energy. Two demon-like dragons fly through the sky. The monstrous creature's leg, covered in scales and ornaments, steps on the ground, leaving behind trails of purple smoke. The powerful demon introduces himself. Zell, Demon King, level 63. He says the hero's fight was impressive. The Demon King comments on the hero's strength, acknowledging that it lives up to his reputation. The hero is introduced with his name and level displayed. Hero King, level 65. The hero thinks to himself about the Demon King having a hidden class. He finds it troublesome. The hero observes the Demon King and a monster under his control. He concludes that the monster is a piece of the Demon King's plan. The hero ponders over what he has seen and whether all of it was the Demon King's doing. He recalls similar monsters from before. The hero breathes, seemingly exhausted. The hero asks the demon to stop his fury, saying he doesn't want to have to hurt him. The demon comments on how cool the hero looks. The demon seems to be preparing for something. The demon observes a group of people hiding in the forest. The group of people hides, watching something move. One of them comments that the creature looked in their direction. A close-up of the demon's malicious smile. The demon attacks the warrior, who appears surprised. The warrior shouts at the demon to stop. The demon attacks again, this time targeting the group of people. One of the bystanders has the creature's hand on his head, his body enveloped in a dark purple mist. The powerful demon announces a forbidden technique called Beast Portal. The man screams in pain as the purple mist transforms him. A command urges him, "Go!" The hero watches the scene in disbelief, murmuring a "heh" and an "oh, look." The demon triumphantly declares, "The pawn is complete." Monsters appear around him. A close-up of the hero's eye showing his shocked expression. The hero accuses, "He turned people into monsters so easily." Unforgivable. The blonde man is in trouble, surrounded by monsters. He exclaims, "This is bad. I can't hit them." A close-up of the blonde man's face, showing tension and sweat. He dodges one of the monster's attacks at the last moment. The hero fights against the monstrous creatures. The creature tries to attack him. The hero lands a precise blow, knocking the creature down. He faces another enemy, more powerful. It seems like a difficult confrontation. The hero attacks again, causing a massive impact. The demon shows pain and suffering after the attack. He groans in pain. The enemy, gritting his teeth, displays fury and rage. Furious, he orders something to be done or for his minions to attack. The hero launches a powerful attack against the flying creature. The enemy suffers a massive impact from an energy attack. The hero questions the opponent about his actions, showing indignation. The demon growls, calling the opponent a monster and questioning his intent. The demon argues that he doesn't want to destroy the world because he appreciates the freedom of the strong in it. He states that no one likes to see what they love being destroyed and says the monster shouldn't do what people hate. The hero questions the concept of love in a world where people truly die, considering the situation cruel. The monster states that they have different opinions. The demon asks if they should take a vote with his monsters to decide the course of the situation. The hero calls the monster a bastard. He fights against countless dark monsters. The hero battles a monstrous giant creature with many teeth and a large eye. The demon comments on the vast number of monsters under his command. The demon says that he will probably lose because common sense level doesn't matter. He states that, despite having seen incredible things, if he can overcome this, it will be enough. He fights against monsters. A close-up of the demon's eye. The hero is fighting multiple monsters and complains that no matter how much he attacks, it's not enough. He is surprised and wonders where the demon went. The hero wonders if another character, Zell, used the opportunity to escape. The hero, confused, asks where the other character went. However, the hero seems to sense something strange. The protagonist walks alongside the bunny girl. She says the location information indicates the hero should be nearby, but she finds it strange. The protagonist points to several defeated monsters and says there are many of them around. The demon suddenly appears in front of the two. The demon places his hands on them. A sudden explosion of blood and violence. The demon observes the scene with sarcasm, considering the situation both pitiful and admirable. He mocks, calling the hero pathetic. The wounded hero asks, "Naoki?" The hero asks worriedly, "Are you safe?" The hero is wounded in a pitiful scene, while the protagonist merely watches, his younger brother being killed before his eyes by the demon. He states that he will find Hiroki and save him from this world. He fights a creature resembling a rhinoceros. He says, "I have to." Wounded, he fights a bear. He repeats, "I have to." Injured and bleeding, he fights a dark creature. Once again, he says, "I have to." A sequence of images shows the protagonist in various difficult battles. In all of them, he repeats, "I have to." More images of fights, emphasizing the intensity of the situation. He insists, "I have to." The protagonist uses that energy of his, which devastated the ground. He releases his energy. Confident, he declares, "With this power, I'm sure I could save Hiroki, the wounded hero, with the shadowy creature attacking him." The hero has his chest pierced. The demon says, "Hello," with its fangs. The armored hero is struck by the demon's purple force, suffering further damage. The hero lies on the ground while the protagonist watches. The protagonist receives a notification on his screen showing that Hero King has 0 HP. The red-armored hero is lying on the ground. A message appears on the screen, informing that the friend, Hero King, was defeated by the player Zell. The long-eared one cries upon receiving the same message about Hero King's defeat. A man in armor, with a worried expression, also receives the same notification about Hero King's defeat. Messages appear on screens informing that the player, Hero King, was defeated in battle. The hero is down, injured, and murmurs, "Sorry," and the name Naoki. The young man lies in a hospital bed, wearing a virtual reality headset. His vital signs are being monitored. The powerful villain laughs while the hero lies fallen and defeated. The villain just laughs. The villain declares that the hero has fallen. The protagonist's eyes show fear, anguish, and the pain of loss. Screaming in despair, he rushes into hand-to-hand combat against the demon. The villain asks if the young man knew Hero King and offers his condolences. The young man wears an expression of shock and fear. The villain delivers a powerful kick, sending the young man flying. A dark and powerful hand emerges, emanating purple energy. The powerful demon threatens to send him to join the hero. A multi-eyed monster and a stag appear. The protagonist observes. The horned demon attacks with an explosion of energy. The demon asks where the other weakling is. A close-up of the demon's eye, showing surprise or anger. The demon walks through a desolate landscape. The protagonist activates the skill called Super Endurance, and his HP is 1/213. The demon expresses his surprise with a simple, "What?" The protagonist is in shock. The demon tells him, "Go ahead." He seems challenging and confident. Another monster attacks him. He strikes the monster with an energy blast from his fist. The demon looks on with a severe expression. A close-up of the demon's teeth showing his anger. The demon asks, What did you do?" His tone expresses surprise and indignation. Many demonic creatures emerge around him. The protagonist prepares to fight, creating energy in his hand. A close-up of the protagonist's widened eyes. The demon wonders what happened. As he is injured and confused about his situation, he questions the state of his own body, which appears wounded and different. The horned, demonic-looking demon wears a serious expression. Injured and transformed, he asks if he is truly in this condition. The demon, still standing without part of his arm, with a trail of devastation caused by the protagonist beside him. The protagonist remains standing with clenched fists. The demon questions who he is, showing surprise. The protagonist leaps swiftly. An impactful action or attack is shown, with some kind of energy being released. He shouts while attacking the protagonist, with horns, apparently with rage and strength. A woman in a light dress performs a magical ritual, her hands over a glowing circle on the ground. And when he attacks the demon, suddenly a portal appears, making him vanish. Startled, a close-up of his face. Shortly after, the protagonist appears behind the rabbit-eared girl. It was she who created the portal to save him. Furious, the protagonist remarks that he is not done with him yet. He asks the woman if the previous attack was her magic. She confirms, saying it was just a little. She shakes her head apprehensively. The protagonist laments, thinking it is too late to use his technique again. She comments on the enemy's escape, agreeing that they cannot pursue them now. The protagonist reveals an expression of frustration and anger, expressing a simple, "Damn it." Furious, he begins to scream while punching the ground, enraged but grieving his brother's death. The demonic being, panting, is left without half of his torso. The demon observes the system panel of the game. He presses a virtual button that says, "Call." Soon he begins to say that he has never seen such an ability before, and he questions whether it is some kind of trick. Another one states, "Number." It's probably the ability Soul of Despair. The electronic panel displays information, Someone claims that it is a hidden tank ability. The demon questions whether the ability can be nullified. Another responds that they cannot interfere with others' abilities. He declares that he can be defeated and that he is not an invincible opponent. The demon states that it is necessary to quickly eliminate those who disturb order. A landscape shows a village in the valley and a solitary tree on a cliff. A goblin attacks with a club. The knight uses his shield to defend against the blow and says, "Wow!" The protagonist's brother observes the scene and says, "Oops." The protagonist says that the opponent is difficult. The other disagrees. The protagonist's brother says the other should defeat goblins easily. The protagonist responds that it is difficult to learn the attack patterns. The protagonist's brother says, "Wow." He attacks the goblin with his sword, and he tells the protagonist to hurry up. The protagonist's brother smiles and says that the other needs to help him a little. A panoramic view of a village. A rabbit-eared woman observes the protagonist sitting on the ground under a tree, looking sad. Close-up of the rabbit-eared woman, with a serious and concerned expression. The protagonist remains seated, injured, under the tree, closing himself off more and more. She says that a week has passed since the incident. She approaches and says that everything is fine. The protagonist disagrees, saying that it is not fine. In his hand, he shows a piece of his brother's clothing. He says it's his fault. He explains that he gave wrong information and that he should have kept things more peaceful. Even so, he feels responsible for something bad that happened. The protagonist seems on the verge of an emotional breakdown. The protagonist remains silent, visibly shaken. He states that he killed Hiroki and that this was the cause of his death. She comforts the young man, who is lamenting. She hugs the protagonist, who is crying. She says that he wants to blame himself, questioning him. She disagrees, saying that Hiroki would not want him to feel this way. The Hero King was always helping others and having fun. She talks about Hiroki being a hero, but after meeting the protagonist, she realized the reason for his greatness. The young man cries, and it is said that Hiroki became a great hero because of him, his older brother. And it is said that he received the game from him and made many people happy. She observes that Hiroki's true nature was different from what one might imagine. He did not want to see him sad. She suggests taking one step at a time without rushing. He agrees that it is better this way. There is a touch of hands. The protagonist cries profusely. He says, "Yes," with a sad expression, suggesting resigned agreement. He covers his face with his hand in a gesture of despair and suffering. Soon, he remembers his little brother, happy at all times. He firmly holds the piece of fabric, demonstrating anguish and despair. He expresses his inability to stand still in the face of destruction. He says that the place his brother loved is being destroyed. The protagonist looks back, kneeling near the tree in an attitude of sadness or reflection. The name Hiroki is mentioned. He commits to protecting the place his brother dedicated himself to protecting. He will help everyone instead of Hiroki. He carves an inscription into the tree. He says to leave someone for him, specifically Zell, the demon. The protagonist states that death is too easy an end for the one who is dying. He ties the piece of his brother's clothing around his hand, the one who brought ruin to this world. He says he will defeat Zell and make him suffer the punishment he deserves. He shows his clenched fist. He declares that he will put an end to the atrocities of the demon king Zell. He looks determined. We see 3 mountain peaks. A hand, probably of a monster. The protagonist says he needs to level up first. He comments that he cannot fight properly as he is now, even with enhanced abilities. We see monsters attacking. He states that he needs to become stronger than Hiroki. He is fighting the monster and suffering some attacks. He says he needs to improve his battle instincts as well. He comments that all these efforts will help defeat Zell. The monster executes a powerful attack against him. The monster lands the hit. The protagonist, even injured, counterattacks, his fist emanating energy. He uses the powerful attack. He is looking at a destroyed location after the fight. The character levels up, reaching level 13 with increased attributes. He swears to avenge Hiroki. The rabbit-eared girl runs, apparently fleeing from something. She runs scared from a monkey that is chasing her. She continues to flee, frightened by the creature. She exclaims that she is very scared, expressing shock. The injured protagonist appears thoughtful, saying nothing. The protagonist says it will take time, but he will avenge his death. He also strikes the monkey. He levels up again. The protagonist observes that his level has doubled since his last fight. He thinks that he needs to keep getting stronger because his opponent will also grow stronger. He says he needs to get stronger and refine his skills. The rabbit-eared girl is hanging from a branch to escape a small, weak beast. The girl asks for help. The protagonist says he will help Rabiko first. The girl admits that she knows she needs to try harder, even though she is afraid. The girl says she is scared. The protagonist says that Rabiko has incredible magic and needs to have more confidence. He thinks about teleportation and clone creation powers, considering them extremely powerful if used correctly. She says she learned magic to escape. The protagonist tells her not to brag about that. She comments on the difficulties of fighting Zell, saying that it is not just because of his level, but also because of his personality, which makes her feel insecure. She complains that the game's system requires defeating enemies completely to earn experience points. She always runs away, making it difficult to level up, and the thought of dying paralyzes her. He suggests that if it's too difficult, he can fight Zell alone. She responds that it's too risky and refuses. She comments that it would be nice if she had more will to fight, but at the very least, she wants to level up without problems. He says, "I understand." Then he thinks of a solution. He suggests that she improve her equipment, specifically her armor, as a way to get stronger. She agrees that it would be good, but says she doesn't have enough money to buy better armor. She suggests they look for a blacksmith in the game to craft armor for her, though it's unlikely to find one in the early stages of the game. He concludes that it's worth trying to look for blacksmiths in the blacksmith's village. The village is shown. An older man says he knows a skilled blacksmith. The rabbit-eared girl reacts with surprise and disbelief. A man responds with a, "Well, yes." The older man clarifies that his information is just a rumor. The rabbit-eared woman and the protagonist show concern about the rumor regarding Ertz. The woman asks if this person is nearby. The protagonist is confused. She reveals that her real name is Tsubasa Yamaha and not Ertz. The protagonist is surprised to learn that she is a famous actress. An elegant woman describes Tsubasa as an excellent player and the owner of a gaming channel with many subscribers, as well as a blacksmith. She declares herself a fan of the actress. The protagonist seems surprised. The older man laments the situation. The woman asks what he means. The man comments on the rumor. He says no one has seen her in over 2 months. He says no one has seen her. She has been missing. The woman, identified as Ertz, a level 47 blacksmith, complains about the slowness of working alone. The woman thinks out loud that things would be easier if everyone were there to help her. She reprimands herself, telling herself not to be weak. The woman states that she cannot ask anyone for help. She is desperate, saying she can no longer ask anyone for help. A scene shows a female foot in a high heel stepping down. The protagonist comments that there seems to be more to the story, but they lack information about other blacksmiths. He says they need to find her and negotiate since both have their difficulties. The rabbit-eared girl comments that finding her will be necessary before negotiating since she has been hiding for 2 months. The trees sway. It ends up catching their attention. A giant spider appears, drawing their attention. The woman says it is an oni spider, a large and strong monster, while the protagonist says it's okay because he has the techniques sword and soul of despair. She tells the protagonist to do nothing while he looks concerned. The woman says that resistance will not be enough against the rapid attacks of the 8-legged oni spider. She yells for them to run. She runs and kicks the ground, apparently to distance herself from danger. The giant purple monster rushes toward them. They comment that they are in a difficult situation. The girl says they are surrounded. The protagonist asks how far the magic teleportation can take them. The girl responds that the magic range is limited to 5 meters. He says that if they use magic there, they will be caught. The protagonist says there is no other choice and grabs the girl's hand. The girl, confused, asks why. He jumps off the cliff, and he and the girl fall from a great height. The girl screams in despair. In midair, the protagonist yells for the girl to summon a teleportation exit on the ground. The girl responds with an "okay." She uses teleportation magic and moves quickly downward. The teleportation creates two bright blue portals on the ground. They fall to the ground, exhausted and relieved. The girl comments that she thought they were going to die. The girl scolds the protagonist for being reckless, but notes that, in the end, everything worked out. He responds with a, "Huh?" A woman with a pickaxe appears on the scene, observing the boy and the girl. The rabbit-eared girl is scared and surprised. She comments, "ERTZ." The protagonist near her comments, "Huh, that person is." The pink-haired girl turns around and starts running away from them. They ask her to make armor for them. She rejects them, saying, "Stay away from me. Don't follow me." The protagonist pleads to be heard, saying it's important and that he needs help. The woman in high boots suddenly stops. The pink-haired girl looks at a technological device and says, "I warned you." The rabbit-eared girl and the protagonist watch something emerge from a blue energy source. Several shields float in the air. Many shields merge, forming a large armor in front of them. From behind the shields, she reminds them that she had told them not to get involved with her. A massive wall of shields stands before them. She states that the shield wall is a system error from a blacksmith and explains that he can conjure multiple items at once. The protagonist is impressed. He explains that the wall is made up of over 100 stacked shields. He apologizes for the trouble caused. The woman apologizes to her for causing problems. They look back and seem worried. The giant spider appears again. She says she can't believe they're being attacked, while the protagonist confirms that they are. The pink-haired woman seems angry or frustrated as she watches them being cornered. She appears to be in conflict with her thoughts. She quickly changes her mind and decides to help them. The spider attacks them. Above the spider, several beams of light appear. Many red energy projectiles hover over the spider. The protagonist looks scared and confused alongside the rabbit-eared girl. Soon, several weapons fall from the sky onto the spider amid the red beams. Swords and axes lay on the ground. The spider is dead, completely shredded. The pink-haired woman tells the protagonist and the girl that she spared their lives. She then dismisses her shields. The pink-haired woman bids them farewell and says she is going to a place they don't know. They watch her leave, crying. The rabbit-eared girl comments that they made her angry. She enters a cave near a waterfall. She walks through her cave, which has various materials and crafted equipment. She is sitting in the cave, looking tired or discouraged. She recalls them calling her by the name Ertz. She remembers when she found a rare ore and expressed her happiness. The girl announces a raffle for rare items. She says she will distribute amazing items and asks people to leave comments to participate. The woman, using a device, comments that she can't leave. An error message appears on the device's screen, informing her that it is impossible to exit due to a technical issue and that it is necessary to contact support. Suddenly, someone calls her by her actress name. A man tells the girl that the game is broken and over. She agrees. The man says he wants to spend his last moments with the girl. The girl wonders what is happening. The man attacks her. However, other people restrain the man to protect her. They shout for the man to stop struggling. In shock, she says this can't be happening. A group gathers, commenting on never-before-seen monsters causing chaos. They explain that they decided to protect her, even though it is risky, in a world without security. A man tells the girl that she is everyone's hope and asks to be allowed to protect her. The girl thanks him, but says she doesn't want to be protected unilaterally. She says she wants to protect everyone too and plans to make weapons and armor to help them. The group of people smiles and rejoices at the girl's decision. The group goes on a mission together, working as a team. There are moments of rest and battle preparation. 3 members of the group, including a warrior woman, appear ready for battle in their combat gear. The pink-haired girl displays a confident and determined smile, but her expression quickly changes to horror. Her companions lost their lives to protect her. She is terrified as she watches her friends being killed, and the archer urges her to run. She couldn't flee, only lamenting as her friends were slaughtered before her eyes. The red-haired archer shouted for her to hurry, and when the archer looked back again, he could no longer see her. She walks through the forest, her legs trembling. She thinks to herself. She regrets not being able to protect the others due to lack of power. She continues her inner monologue, explaining that everyone was sacrificed. She is in shock and suffering. She regrets that everyone was sacrificed. She walks through the dark forest and says that she doesn't want anyone else to die because of her. She shows concern for the safety of others. That's why she avoids contact with other people. Right now, she's still sitting with her head down. She states that she can't involve anyone else in her problems. She seems to weigh the responsibility of her situation. The demon says that he's going to the north area. He seems determined and ready to act. He says that the others are lucky and wishes them good luck. Two demons approach, imposing. One demon orders another demon to go get Erza. The two demons agree with the order given. They show obedience and acceptance of the order. And then our whole story continues, and after everything happened, she sits down and starts staring into space while listening to the sound of the waterfall. The waterfall was beating, but below the waterfall, we found two demons who were walking around there, sitting down. She thinks about getting up, especially because she collected some good materials. The materials should be enough for her to get out of some dangerous place, but still, she needs more. So she gets up and heads towards the waterfall, but the moment she leaves that way, she finds those two demons who were down there. And the moment she sees this, she gets scared. That's right, they cast an explosion spell on that waterfall, throwing her backwards. Falling to the ground, she only faces those two. They were both kind to her, but she realizes that the witch is not basically a player, and also these two guys here in front of her, they weren't either. They were practically some demons. As for why these two were here now, he then believes that she is thinking about it, so he wonders if he was surprised. Then he explains that because they were simple demons who are not players. So it is very likely that she is the person who basically came specifically for her. If she was basically thinking about it, she was 100% right, because they basically serve the Demon King, Zhu, but they also came here to bring her a proposal. From now on, he asks her to join the army of the Demon King Zhu, and if by chance she joins, she will be spared. She even thinks that she has heard that name before. After all, this was the guy, the Demon King, who was killing players everywhere. He then goes on to say that the king was working day and night to make this world a safer and more peaceful place, and to be achieving his real goal. Her blacksmithing skills are more than necessary. The armed forces would be quite useful to eliminate the rebels, and if she accepts, she will have the privilege of having everything she wants. This would basically be her point of view, but she will not be using her skills to kill humans. So she uses one of her skills there that creates several shields. He ends up breaking the shields quickly, but after breaking the shields, he tries to find her but can't find her. There the place was completely clean. After a while, we see what happened. She entered through some hole and is managing to crawl to a safer place. Besides, there was no need to mess with her, because she will defeat this monster at any cost. Also, these monsters will not be using their skills to defeat her companions. While she was commenting in her mind about this, she even thinks about sweating a little. But the next moment, she starts to hear a noise, so at this point, she wonders what that sound was. Just as he was talking about it, a mysterious hand appeared, and that hand grabbed her head and pulled her out. After a while, he was happy that he had managed to find her. Now that he had found her, she had basically lost. But it wasn't bad at all. He was surprised to see that she had managed to find a way out of this situation, even though she was trapped in it. Her feat, to him, was quite clever. He knew that she had potential, so she ended up thinking of a plan so that she couldn't escape again, so he takes a knife and throws it at her leg. As soon as he catches it, she starts screaming and the other guy just starts laughing. What's more, they comment that he won't need her leg, since all he needed was her blacksmithing skills. His idea was smarter than hers in the end, so at that moment, He pulls another sword out of the system again. While he was playing with his fire swords, we find an archer, pointing the arrow in his direction. After then aiming, he simply aims. After aiming, he shoots. This arrow ends up flying and piercing one of his arms. And after he realizes this, it was too late. He was caught. So they ended up thinking, what could it be? What could it be? So he turns around and finds a good number of players up there on the mountain. One of them shouts that this was surprising, so now they can't run away from them anymore, and she, who was still being grabbed by that demon, wonders why she was still here. The other demon who was there just watching all this simply laughs at the whole situation. After all, they even think that he managed to surround them, even though there are enough of them for him. It doesn't mean anything. Then he stretches his hand up and asks them to look at it. They then look up. Now, he will be punishing those who tried to challenge their own demon king. And as soon as he looks, they notice a sword appearing from the middle of the cloud. This sword starts to appear bigger and bigger. Its size is gigantic. This sword goes towards their group. The girl who was being grabbed by these creatures has a gigantic surprise. She knew that if it caught her companions, most likely they would all die. So she begins to understand that she will be doing everything they need to do to at least build a good one. But he ends up commenting that she decided to agree to this quite late. The sword then ends up getting close to them. They are scared by this. The girl just screams for it to stop, and the sword ends up hitting and also destroying the entire mountain. In the end, she turns pale, not believing it. The other just ends up saying that it was a bingo. Because his ability was quite powerful, there was no way anyone could defend against it. Until he gets scared by one thing, his sword ended up not falling in the end. It stayed still in the air. The person who stopped this sword was our protagonist, who managed to hold the sword with only one hand, while the others, with the help of that adventurous rabbit, managed to push everyone back. She now just looks at them, happily asking why she was doing this. Now that they were here, he ends up remembering that he was that guy over there, that guy who was the tank lord, a certain Zane who was talking so much. So our protagonist shouts there and calls for him. He knew that it is very likely that this short guy is one of Zane's subordinates. So if it was, he will be using all his power now. If he will really use it, we will only find out, unfortunately, in the next part. Well, today's video has come to an end. But before I go, leave a comment below with what you thought of this badass. But before I go, leave a like, and if possible, subscribe to the channel. Then, I think I'll go from there.